Hi, I'm Muse Gloria taking the class on neurology, and I'm here with Reverend Rose, who actually experienced locked-in syndrome and has been healed from it. So we're going to talk briefly about her experiences with that. So, Reverend Rose?
Okay, thank you, Gloria. My experience happened beginning in 2000, September 5th of the year 2000. And I was sitting at a stop sign behind four cars, and a truck came up behind me over a hill and was going full speed, dropped his lunch on the floor, and by the time he picked it up and sat back up straight, he was running into the back of my truck, small truck. And I smashed into the cars ahead of me, and they smashed into the ones ahead of them. And so what happened was at that time, I remember being taken out of the car and taken to the hospital, but I don't remember the ride much in the ambulance. When I got to the hospital, you know, they didn't see that there was too much damage, and so after about 5 or 6 hours, they sent me home. Um, I was in physical therapy for about a year and a half, and one day when I went to physical therapy, I lost all feeling on the left side of my body, and so the physical therapist called an ambulance and they took me to the hospital. And I was in an MRI machine for about 3 hours because they couldn't really figure out what was going on. So they would pull me out and give me an injection, put me back in, and go through the whole rigmarole of going through the MRI completely. So at that point, my doctor in Louisville called a doctor who was a neurological surgeon, a neurology surgeon from Phoenix, where they were going to send me in the first place, and he had moved to Boulder. And so she contacted him, and he contacted us on New Year's Day of the year 2002. And then he said, "You need to get down to Boulder right away tomorrow." So my husband took me down there, and he did another MRI and said we need to do surgery right away. And so that's was done on either the 7th or 8th of the year 2002. Um, and when I woke up from surgery, I couldn't move anything except my eyes, and the doctor said that they had found a 5.5 inch long meningioma that he removed from during the surgery that obviously had come from the impact to the back of my head and neck.
Okay, that's a part of the brainstem. And so you said that was a tumor that was in
Yes.
that brainstem in
Right.
the meninges.
Right.
Okay.
So he apologized and said that he felt that he probably should have told me that um, if I didn't have the surgery, that I would probably be dead in a month or so. But if I did have the surgery, at least I would be alive. And he knew that I could be completely paralyzed, which is exactly what happened. Um, During the surgery, they lost all the lights in the surgery room. I died. They brought me back. It's just a series of things that happened during the surgery. And after the surgery, I was put into rehab after about 7 or 8 days. And
You prayed when you
I
first
prayed,
found out.
yes. After he gave me the diagnosis, I felt like that's all I could do. I mean, I first had this rush of feeling really hopeless, and then I thought, well, I'm the only one that can do something about this because there's nothing else anybody can do. And so, having been raised Catholic, I started praying the rosary, and I've been to various and sundry churches, and so I prayed every prayer I could think, and it was continual. Um, I feel like that prayer was the foundation for my healing that I'm experiencing now, and that's how the healing started. Um, then I was in rehab about 2.5 to 3 months, and woke up and realized that I had moved my arm, or my arm had moved, and it was in a different place than when I had gone to sleep. And so That's when they really started doing more physical work with me, when they realized there was something here to work with. So um, that's
And
where I was then.
from there, you visualized. You said
Yes, I started visualizing when I realized the hand had moved, and I'm not sure if I moved it or what happened, but I'm thinking I must have moved it in that middle of the night. I started visualizing moving my fingers and then my arms and my toes and my legs and talking. And that's how things started for me. I would first start with my fingers because I wanted to be able to use my hands to feed myself and wash myself, etc. And so um, I would visualize that happening, and it did happen, and it would happen within days and weeks of my visualizing it.
okay. And you also mentioned that no one did what they did with Bobby, where they tried to read the alphabet to you and try
No,
to speak. But some family members came in to talk to you, and you were able to blink. Or did they ask yes/no questions, or
mostly yes/no questions. Sometimes they'd ask questions about the days of the week, and I'd have to blink starting with Sunday and going forward, and those kinds of things. Yeah,
okay,
but
yeah,
they
yeah,
knew that I could hear, and so they would just talk to me. I did remember getting a phone call about 2.5, no, it must have been about 4.5 to 5 months in rehab. My brother called, one of my 7 brothers called me, and I looked at the nurse, and she just held the phone up to my ear and said, "This is your brother calling from Trinidad." And I all of a sudden opened my mouth and said, "If my brother's calling, I must be dying."
Oh
Those
no!
are my first words.
Wow, wow.
So,
And then you said you progressed over what time frame to get to the point that you were in a wheelchair, and then
from going from, a wheelchair to a walker and then a cane, it was about 2 to 2.5 years.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So do you feel like you're fully healed now, or do you still feel like there's some impairment on certain days?
Um, I think I'm about 90% because I still have issues with losing words. Um, I think because of the head injury, I have sections of years of my life that I don't remember music from or things like that. People ask me a question, I'm like, really? Did Gandhi really die then? It's like there are pieces of my memory that are definitely gone. Um, in my public speaking, which I used to do a great deal of before the accident, I'm really just starting to try to do that now.
Right, and
So,
this is year
yeah,
2014.
this is
So yeah,
2014,
so
so it's
it's
taken
been
time.
yeah, it's been what 13 years since the
Yes,
accident. Yeah, yeah.
14 years since the accident, but
Okay,
yeah,
14 years since the accident.
and
Yeah,
then 13
yeah.
since the surgery.
Okay. Well, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.